are getting some beautiful, beautiful shots here as we get ready for the junior men's race here in the Adirondacks. Lake Placid, Whiteface Mountain, brand new track for everyone, and we know how explosive the junior men's ranks have been this year. On a brand new track, this could be carnage. Kai Burleson will get us underway. Then it's the Tweed Valley's own Stan Nisbet. Felix Griffiths after him. Asa Vermette, bit further back maybe than we're used to seeing him in the rankings. Winner of the last round, of course. Ryder Lawrence will be the penultimate rider. Then it's Max Alran last to drop. How's Asa feeling ahead of this one, Nico?
He's feeling good. He likes the dry, dusty conditions, and he feels at home here in the USA.
Kai Burleson getting ready to go.
Kai's one of the fast up-and-coming riders we have in the US, so it'll be really exciting to see him take the start in his first World Cup today.
You guys have a lot of fast up-and-coming riders at the minute. Burleson explodes out of the gate, turns hard left and into the woods for the first time. Nico, tell us a bit more about this track.
Yeah, this first turn even that he just went through, there's two lines. He opted for the main line, which is the outside to inside. Then he goes outside in this section. I think we'll see a lot of riders down the left of that, the rider's left. That's one of the most technical parts in the first 10 seconds. So I think the riders being fresh, we'll see some exciting lines from them. Then through this whole wood section, almost every turn, there's 2 or 3 line choices. Aaron Gwynn did a great job with the track design here to give options to the riders, and then the conditions. It hasn't rained here in a month, and these dry, dusty soils really cutting into multiple line options.
Burleson finding some big holes there up top, and I mentioned it during the junior women's race. Aaron Gwynn saying that he really wanted to make it really intense from the get-go. Kai Burleson on an intense bike, looking for all the world extremely intense up there.
Absolutely, and his riding style fits that as well. But he's on the mark today. He hasn't been offline. He's definitely hitting some of the holes pretty hard, but I think we're going to see that from every rider in the junior field.
Across all the categories as well, we are seeing a lot of riders in that jersey stepping up to their home race this weekend.
Yeah, and you know, first and second in the junior women's field, that's a good way to start the day. I hope to see a few more Americans on top as we go through the categories today.
Kai Burleson heading out in the open for the first time across this big gap jump.
See the riders staying low here. When they're out in the ski trail, they're going so fast and out in the open without any trees to protect them. They have to really stay low to the bike. There's sometimes crosswinds as well. So you see he gets on the pedals and then gets his elbows down as low as he can. Really, I mean, it's pretty simple. The lower you are to the bike, the less drag you have. 63.4 kilometers an hour through the speed trap. 1 minute 19.5 as our first benchmarker. Split 2. It's an interesting section that it goes so fast on the ski trail, then they're back into this small wood section, which is really tight. It's a big speed check. You can see how slow this turn is. So that variance of fast to slow.
Burleson, yeah, just getting knocked off track.
Man, that's a bummer for him. He looked like he was on a solid run up until there.
And this little wood section here over to the right-hand side of the piece, as we watch it again, yeah, front wheel just got offline. And
it's one of the tighter turns on the track, and like I was saying, the variance in speed creates a hard braking zone, and he just didn't get down to the speed for that turn.
Next up, Stan Nisbet for Aon Racing by Tourney Camper Vans.
These guys are really creative with line choice on a normal weekend, and on this track, on a fresh one, they have some really interesting lines. I expect them to go really wide in this first section all the way outside.
Yeah, we heard Ryder Wilson say after making it through Q2 yesterday in the elite men's race that actually he thought there was a lot of time to be had by going out right and on Nisbet down off course. Talk us through it, Nico.
Yeah, this is so rough here. There's just 3 big rock drops in a row. One of them's right behind this boulder you can't see, and he just got off timing and tucked the front end.
So many big impacts up there early in the run. Next up, though, Felix Griffiths of the Santa Cruz Syndicate. We haven't seen a lot of them in the lives this season.
Yeah, he started off the season with a shoulder injury, so he's building back to health and getting his feet wet on the races as well. It's his first season, so normally the juniors take a few races to get up to speed, and that's come a bit later for him with that injury he had at the beginning of the year.
He's 0.4 of a second faster than that split time of Burleson's, so 61.1 kilometers an hour through the speed trap. And that's what makes these entries into the woods sections so difficult, Nico, isn't it? Is that you've got that massive speed boost out in the open, and all of a sudden there's trees either side of you.
Yeah, when the track has a similar average speed, it's not as much to separate the riders. But when it goes fast to slow, there's a hard braking zone, and it creates some separation, some time gap between people.
So that 9.6 as he passes that spot on the track where Burleson had his off. So Felix Griffiths on course currently to give us our first real benchmark time of the day, just on clips down through the waterfall section. And again, this section is really lumpy, and you need to just muscle your way through it, don't you?
Crucial for timing to get a good drive out of here, and at this point in the run the riders are already at their max, so it's pretty hard to time right.
Felix Griffiths off the Santa Cruz Syndicate across that big gap. Looking really good here so far in this run, Felix.
Yeah, this will be good for him to get a solid run under his belt. I know he's had a little bit of trouble just getting his best run down so far this year.
Oh, just got pushed slightly. I wonder if that's that wind, although the windsock looks fairly placid at the minute. Griffiths across the final drop, heads across the line and goes faster by 10.7 seconds. So that's our first real top to bottom completed time.
That'll be a good benchmark time for the next riders to drop.
Yeah, fastest junior men's time yesterday set by Max Alran with a 3:11.6. Next up, Omri Danon, young man in a hurry in 2025.
Yeah, he's got a really good style on the bike, very good technical rider. Expect him to be fast at the top of this track.
Yeah, super aggro as well, isn't he? Really muscles the front end of the bike around, so this one could be all action. Split 4, he's 1.7 seconds faster, and he's maintained that from 3 down, so looking good here, Nico.
Yeah, opts for the 2-2. There's a big 4-pack there. Some riders might be able to triple it if they get a good exit.
Yeah, but there is a theory that 2-2 in it, you may be able to generate a bit more speed out of it.
Could probably do it lower to the ground as well.
Danon goes fastest by 1.7 seconds ahead of Felix Griffiths. Good run from Omri Danon. I should say another good run in 2025 from this young Israeli.
He's been solid this year.
Jack McCredie from Canada, Canadian national champ sleeve on his jersey.
He's one of our future Frameworks riders, and he's been building all through the season. Had a great result at Canadian National Champs where he took the win there. This is his first World Cup that he's made the final, but he's been progressing at every one he's been at.
4.3 seconds back at the third split for McCredie. The rockets through that right-hander.
Yeah, a lot of these first-year juniors, they just need to get race starts under their belt. They can learn so much and progress so quickly. They just have to go through that process of race day and build from there.
Yeah, and just little things that we saw in the junior women's. You and Lena Frenner off the bike at the top of the track, but then still setting fastest sector times. Just all experience. Really nicely done, McCredie. Tucks himself really down low behind the stem. Goes third, 4.7 seconds back off Omri Danon's fastest time, which itself is 1.7 seconds in the clear. Raoul Schneeberger, young Swiss rider, first time seeing him this season properly.
A lot of these riders on the Goodman Santa Cruz team are really impressive to watch. The technical skill they have. You know, when you get riders on a similar team, you see guys like Thomas Estak and Nathan Pontevillon leading the charge. The young riders start to emulate them and ride with a similar style.
About to say, there are not just the kit, there are shades of Pontevillon just about Schneeberger's shape on the bike.
That's one of the better compliments you can have this season.
It's not a bad one, is it? Yeah.
He's been riding amazing. His run in Luneville was one of the most exciting of the year.
Yeah, one of the standout performances of the season so far. Let's get Schneeberger down across the line then. Goes into third place, 2.7 seconds back. That's a pretty formidable run. We're still some way, though, off that fastest quality time of Max Alran's 3:11.6. which is actually faster than Ronan Dunn's Q2 winning time in the elite category.
Zac Bradley-Hudson here, one of the high country riders, has been solid all season. He's almost every weekend in the top 10, and he looks really comfortable on the bike.
Yeah, we are, we should point out to regular viewers, we are down a Carlson in the booth for this race. Commentary booth over at the cross-country site over at Mount Van Hoevenberg. So, I know that the big man is a big fan of Zac Bradley-Hudson, one of the riders he really, really rates. I've seen a lot of him race back home in Australia. 1.6 seconds back of Omri Danon's time in the second place for Bradley-Hudson. Good run.
He'll be happy with that one.
Alex Mallen, one of the two Mallen brothers. We've seen them race overseas all season long. Now they get a crack at their home round.
Yeah, these guys go for it every time they're in the start gate. It's always an exciting race to watch.
1.9 seconds back at the third split from Mallen. So far, though, Nico, you know more than just about anybody else about the state of US downhill at the minute, but just young, fast rider after young, fast rider coming out the States at the minute.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, to see the results this weekend, just yesterday in the qualifying, we had 7 elite men go through the Q1, and we had a ton of juniors in both categories as well. So to have that depth is just years of guys like Aaron Gwynn leading the charge and young guys being inspired by them.
And yourself, come on, give yourself some credit. Alex Mallen goes 4th place, but am I right in saying as well it's both coasts as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got riders from the East Coast, you know, Luca, Richie Rude, East Coast riders, and then guys like Aaron from the West Coast as well.
William Arbogast, another young, fast American.
He's one of the East Coast guys, grew up racing in the Southeast. I've seen this guy grow up over the past few years.
Just got bobbled there, has to re-find the pedal. Looks like the chain may have come off of I thought I saw a chain flap, but whoa,
did a good job of holding on to that one. He was riding the bull there for a little while.
Rode the bull the whole way down there. Arbogast is keeping at it though. Yeah, you need to do a variation in the US jersey for East versus West Coast just for us independents to have an idea of.
It's a big country. We could.
But very different terrain as well. I've ridden a lot on the East Coast and a lot of rock and sort of wetter conditions.
Which is interesting, this track here today is a very West Coast style track. It's fast, it's super dry, and there's a lot of high-speed sections, which is normally what we see on the West Coast.
In the 7th place so far then for Arbogast. Through everything at that one. Next up, Lucas Dedora.
I think Lucas is the only rider from New York State racing in the race this weekend, so he's going to want to do the Big Apple here proud.
That is a stat and a half as well. You've researched that one, I'll give you that.
Lucas had a really solid season, ups and downs with some crashes, but he's had a few top 10s when it matters, and he's really matured through the year.
But he's within a 10th here at split 4. This could be really, really good stuff from Dedora.
Come on, Lucas.
Tucks back down. Just needs to hit his marks the whole way down. There's absolutely nothing in it. It's Lucas Dedora about to head into the hot seat here in his home race. Dedora crosses the line and goes second. 0.8 of a second off Danon, so he lost 9/10 there, Nico, towards the bottom of the course.
It looked like, I don't know if it was the wind or he just mistimed it, but off the shark fin, he didn't get a good drive off that landing. Jonty Williamson is one of the most exciting riders to watch in this category. He's a smaller rider. He still has room to grow, but he is exciting on the technical stuff.
He really is, actually. I saw him during track walking. The size difference between him and Tyler Waite, obviously downhill, they're only on screen.
He's got to make his time up at the top of this track because this open ski piece section is not going to be cut out for him.
Bang on cue, 1.5 seconds faster Williamson, and we know that top section will have suited him nicely. Really creative. A lot of chat about this young man as we head into contract silly season. Gaps across there.
And opposite to the junior women's category, Jonty is one of the only riders that's a first-year junior. Most of the juniors that he's competing against are second year, so he's the top guy that's heading into this category next season.
2 seconds faster, split 3 for Williamson.
He looked like he even gained some time there through the the flatter section where I would expect him to sort of have his weakness.
Well, what you were saying there, look at Sector 4, Sector 5 belonging to the bigger, physically Zac Bradley-Hudson. So 3.5 seconds now. Williamson absolutely on a tear here for Yeti Fox. Just heard from Josh Carlson earlier this morning. Richie Rude out of this one after a big crash in practice.
Oh, that's a bummer to hear.
Yeah, but Jonty Williamson looking to give the turquoise fans something to cheer about. Nearly loses the back end on that big, fast left-hander. Here he comes, Jonty Williamson. Is he going to go fastest? Does so by 3.1 seconds. Williamson into the hot seat in Lake Placid. Next up, Asa Vermette for Frameworks 5dev, winner of the last round in Lenzerheide in Switzerland. Would dearly love to get another win here today at his home race.
Faison wants to keep the points chase alive. He's going to need a win today.
Oh, just got bobbled over the front there, had the on-clip, managed to get his foot back in the pedal again.
Did a great job of recovering from that one. Could have compounded.
Another rider in that Fox speed suit, which will help him further down this course. Two-piece garment, optimized for aerodynamics.
I really think for Asa, he's one of the bigger, more powerful riders. If he can be in touch exiting the woods, he's going to gain some time down the bottom half of this track.
9/10 of a second faster at the first split for Vermette, going about his work admirably here. Chance of USA from the fans. They've all come here to see this man perform on the biggest stage.
That's the type of stuff that it can be difficult to perform when those chants are going on, but as a junior rider, if he gains some of that experience, it's going to help him through his elite career.
I was going to ask you if he's fazed by this at all, but he doesn't really seem to be fazed by much, Asa.
I think anybody would be to an extent, and he does a really good job of still delivering when the pressure's on.
7/10 of a second now. He's lost 2, but crucially the light is still green for Vermette.
I think he's in a good spot exiting the woods, and hopefully he can stay low to the bike and carry some really good speed on the bottom half of this track.
If you're new to this, by the way, I should point out that Nico is Asa's team manager, and this is their home round.
I try to do my commentary as unbiased as I can, but I'm
trying. The word try is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence, but Asa Vermette, it was great to see him get that win at the last round and sort of get his 2025 back on track again after that Redbull hardline win earlier in the year. Really nicely done through there. Vermette lifts the bike up, sets it down in the right-hander.
Yeah, we say back on track. He's not underperformed at all this year. He's often been top 5 time of the day. Just the 2 French kids, the Alran brothers, have been on another level, and I think it's raising the game for everyone in this category.
Just talk us through, Nico, as well, whenever you've got a talent this size. He's 2.7 seconds up now at the 3rd split as the live drone takes one for the team. Tell us what goes through your mind whenever you've got a talent this size who then starts doing backflips and fastest quality runs.
Well, I think for a kid anyway, it keeps it fun, can kind of keep their mind off the weight and pressure of the whole weekend. And, you know, he didn't do it in his race run. He'd saved it for quali day. So
3.5 seconds faster here at the 4th split for Asa Vermette, having a good go at this one. And this is where he needs to get that big frame of his down behind the bars.
We did some wind tunnel testing earlier this year, so hopefully he remembers what we learned there.
Grabs a couple of pedal strokes, goes across the line, goes fastest by 5.8 seconds ahead of Jonty Williamson. What a run from Asa Vermette. Comfortably under the fastest qualifying time, which was a 3:11. Clocks a 3:07.7.
I've seen that same head gesture from him in the past. He didn't look too impressed with maybe some of those messier sections.
Fastest time on the mountain so far this weekend, going to Asa Vermette here in the junior men's finals. Ryder Wilson from Canada for Forbidden now, on track. 2.9 seconds back on that time of Vermette's.
Ryder has been really impressive to watch in practice. He's really good in those technical top wood section, and I didn't know his name too much because he hasn't been at every World Cup this year, but he's been really strong on the bike.
Forbidden are another one of those brands as well that seem to specialise in finding those young talents and just sort of taking them under Mathieu Depel's wing and fostering them really, really nicely.
Yeah, Matty does a great job with his team. I know they don't have the resources, some of the bigger ones, but they definitely punch above their weight in terms of resource.
Really nicely across there from Wilson. Oh,
good save.
7.5 that from Wilson. He'll be seeing that one tonight in his streams. Talk us through this, Nico. Oh,
man, that's a deep compression there, and he just slipped off the pedal. I don't know if his foot was out from that tight turn before, but yeah, did a good job of clamping with the knees and staying on the bike. It could have been much worse.
Could have been much, much worse. 4.6 seconds back at the third split, but one of those saves as well that if you can, your eyes will take you out of that stuff, won't they? If you keep focusing on where you want to go, but so tough.
Yeah, just an issue with keeping his foot in the binding, really.
66.37 kilometers an hour, fastest speed, so far, set by, guess who, Asa Vermette.
Well, here for Ryder Wilson, a good qualifying run, being well inside the top 10. He'll take that as a positive going into his home World Cup in Mount St. Anne next week.
Yeah, we should point out, as much as we talked about the American riders, we always say this, the American round before the Canadian one. A lot of Canadians just getting themselves zeroed in ahead of their home round. Tyler Waite for Yeti Fox up next, gloveless in the traditional Kiwi fashion.
He's another one that's impressive to watch, man. He's been so steady all year. That's what's gotten him such a high ranking in the overall, and it was just the last race in Lenzerheide that a flat tire.
He's faster.
Took him out of that contention.
He's faster by 100th of a second. Tyler Waite, another big rider, will be able to use that body weight down low here.
He's really good at pumping and working the bike too, so I expect him to run with Asa on the bottom two splits of this track.
Tyler Waite, the New Zealand national champion, and another rider, just as you mentioned with Asa, he's done very little wrong this season. It's just that the Alran brothers have been so fast. 1.1 back though at the third split for Waite.
Yeah, that's the thing when you compare based off of result. It's tough to, in this category anyway, as a junior, it's like anything but a win feels like a failure. But there are times, the way they ride the bike, the performance has been so good from the top 5 kids in this category. It's been outstanding. So that's going to carry them into elite, and they're going to be really strong in the next few seasons.
We've talked about it before, but as we see now, 1.4 seconds back at the fourth. We talk about it so much that there's some generations where there's a standout class act in this category.
Goes for the triple.
Gets it done, Tyler Waite. Huge pull.
See if he gains any time in this last section by going for that triple.
Yeah, rolled the dice, got away with it. Landed it really, really nicely. It's going to add up by the time he gets to the finish line. Tyler Waite goes second. 0.2 of a second back of that time of Asa Vermette. Starting to look more and more impressive. Next up, George Madley. But yeah, I mean, we talked about it a few times this season that there's some years there's a standout talent in this category. This year, there's 4 or 5 real geniuses at work.
Yeah, and it's, as I said, it's pushed them all to be better. And George Madley's right on the back end of that. He can be in that top 5 if he puts a good run together any one of these days.
2.7 seconds back for Madley. One of the more diminutive riders in that top tier as well, so may struggle a bit lower down here. British national champ sleeve. Took that in Fort William earlier on this season. Bode Burke up next.
He has a really light touch to the bike, which really helps him in these braking zones, these steeper sections. On a track like this that doesn't have a lot of traction and grip today, that light touch is going to help him to be smooth through the whole run.
Yeah, spends a lot of time riding with Charlie Hatton, of course, on Continental Atherton. Not a bad sparring partner, former UCI downhill world champion Hatton. Out of this one after dislocated finger.
Impressive to see Charlie dislocate that finger and still go give it his best try in the quali session yesterday.
4.4 seconds back at the third split for Madley, yeah, but I've done it myself, and it's one of those ones that immediately after you sort of feel like, yeah, I can hold on all right, but it just swells and gets more and more uncomfortable throughout the day.
Hopefully it feels better for him for Mount St. Anne next week.
Yeah, that man can do a job of work in there and amongst the trees and the mud and the rocks of St. Anne. Were you a St. Anne fan?
One of my favorite tracks, probably my favorite World Cup track of the season. I'm from the east coast of the U.S., so that's your jam, like home. Isn't it? Until we got Wyndham, which wasn't far from here, it was the closest World Cup. So, yeah, a fan of all these races for sure.
5.5 seconds back for Madley at the fourth split. What's he going to do at the line? It's going to be 7.4. Fourth place, though. I mean, that huge time of Vermette's at 3:07.7, fastest time in the mountain so far this weekend. Causing some big time splits, but here we go. This could be anything. Bode Burke leaves the start hop. And again, another rider, Nico, you mentioned with Madley, right on the coattails of those top 4 or 5 in this category. A race winner already this year.
Yeah, and he goes for it every time he's on the bike. I was going to say every time he's in the start gate, but every practice run he goes for it. He's really exciting to watch, and he's definitely not afraid to send it.
No, 1.1 seconds back. Sorry, 1.9 seconds back, excuse me, at the second split for Bode Burke. I think this little section of the track really difficult, just to the right-hand side of the piste, because you've been going so fast for so long, and then you needed to really thread the needle. There's a couple of really duffy blowing out turns in there as well.
Yeah, you have that speed change, and there's a light change too. You go from the ski slope into the darker woods. It's really dark here where they go into the waterfall section, a big contrast in light. So riders have to adjust to that and then time these natural moguls pretty well to get a drive out of the woods.
3.2 seconds back at the third split for Burke from the USA. A race winner for Commencal Schwalbe by Lazor earlier on this season. Big rumours of that team around, a certain big name that might be joining that roster from next season.
Yeah, they run a really good program. Probably one of the ones that has less resources than the big powerhouse teams, but for sure delivering some amazing results for the effort they put in.
Yeah, working closer and closer with the Commencal factory squad as well. It's very much now a satellite team. Bode Burke heads for the line already, shaking the head, doesn't like it. Fourth place, 6.2 seconds back.
Must have been a mistake we saw before he came on camera there.
Yeah, you generally get that with the head shakes, don't you? Riko Maeuibo from Estonia.
What an awesome qualifying for him. That's really cool to see a guy from his part of the world putting downhill racing on the map.
I was just about to say as well, yeah, another rider that I would put in that bracket of being right behind that top 4 or 5 in terms of just sheer talent on the bike, and so much harder whenever you're not from a downhill nation that has the tracks and the funding and the setup and the race series. The Estonian making it count, making it work for him his own way.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about him, but I'd imagine he came up racing the IXS Cups, which is more of an Eastern European regionally based series that gives these riders a chance to sharpen their skills against some of the best riders in Europe.
Yeah, really well-run series. IXS Cups, been around a long time. And they do bring talents like this man. Monica Hrastnik as well. The Slovenian. Through to international level.
Opts to go for the left line there.
It looks like a bit of a further turn round to get it, but does it set you up better for the exit of those woods?
I think it's a smaller hump and can give you a better drive, so maybe by the end of this straightaway you end up carrying more speed to that split check.
7.6 back for Maeuibo at sector 4, so he's done very little wrong.
He jumped out of that shark fin too, one of the only riders we saw do that.
Yeah, it's a case of, I think, the last few riders we've seen doing very little wrong, but it can't compare to how much Asa Vermette did right. It's currently Vermette, Waite and Williamson in the hot seat. Frameworks leading the 2 Yeti stars.
And those are the top guys that have dropped already. It's the guys we expect to be in the front of the field.
Next up for Cube Factory Racing. Kasper Hickman, we saw him have a horrible crash in Lenzerheide.
Yeah, good to see him back up on the bike after that. He's looked amazing here this weekend through this soft, dusty terrain. He's really been handling the bike well.
Finnish national champion. We saw him there on clip and have to have a couple of little dabs at it.
There's some pretty awkward turns in this top section, some tighter squeezes, and he's really good at getting the bike to cut quick and still carry drive out of the corner.
It's almost enduro-y up there, isn't it? It's that sort of awkward sort of, I don't want to use the word jank because I don't think it tells you that much, but
that turn right there is an example of that. Like, they are pretty tight, and to get line choice, it has to have a pinch in it. And it's done that. It's made 3 lines in that turn. And a guy like Kasper's really good at getting the bike to cut tight through those turns.
Look at the dust exploding away from the front wheel of that cube. Really, really maneuvering himself really nicely for a big man through here, Kasper Hickman.
Yeah, a lot of natural moguls. This is a tree skiing section in the winter, and there's not much machine built in here. It's just all the natural terrain, and there's some really big compressions that have come out of it.
Hickman skiing his way nicely through the trees. Oh, slams hard left. You can't believe how tight that corner is out of nowhere at you whenever you see it. 1.9 seconds back, so it's looking good here for Hickman. He's in touch. Across the piste. Oh, detonates that right-hander.
They did it. Trail Crew's done a good job of keeping the track up through the weekend. That berm was destroyed yesterday, and they did a good job of cleaning it up. If that one went, it would be it would be tough for these riders to get across that flat straightaway.
63.5 kilometers an hour through the speed traps. Yeah, it's been sort of the brainchild of Aaron Gwynn, and the UCI Downhill World Cup course team have been on it as well. Rory Cunningham's been keeping it running as smoothly as possible, along with the local organising guys. It's a dark art, track maintenance, isn't it? Because you want it to evolve and you want it to change, but at the same time, that's a fine line between it absolutely detonating and blowing up.
Yeah, I think the GOAT, Greg Menard, said it best. If it's natural with a rut, leave it. If it's machine built with a rut, you have to fix it.
You can't argue with Menard, can you? That's the problem.
You'll never win if you do.
Exactly, yeah. Greg Menard as well, of course. Documentary out start of this week about his life with ADHD as part of ADHD month in October on YouTube, part of the Norco Race Division series. Highly recommend you go and check that out.
Again, Tyler Waite just won.
This would be a solid top 10 result for Kasper.
Yeah, it's been really, really entertaining the whole way down. Kasper Hickman has thrown everything at this one and goes 5th for his effort, 6.3 seconds back. 3:14, absolutely nothing to sneeze at, but it's not going to get him on the podium today. I feel like I say it every week, but I do really rate Kasper Hickman. You know?
Yeah, and I've said it a few times as well, but he resembles the riding of Max Hardenstern, his teammate, which is a huge compliment. They're able to just handle the bike so well, feet on the pedals in all the tech sections.
Next up, second place qualifier yesterday, one to go after this month. Ryder Lawrence, first time we've really seen him this season.
Yeah, he had a really good up-and-coming season for the past 2 years, and then hasn't done as many of the World Cups this year. He's been focusing more on the national races, which he's won most of. But obviously, he's qualified second here today. He's one of the most talented riders in this category.
0.8 of a second back for Lawrence so far, but he's on the same second and he's in touch.
He rode the bull through that section for sure. He was a bit offline, but it didn't slow him down much.
Yeah, his dad was an OG, intense factory racing rider back in his day.
And Jeremy McGrath's mechanic.
I mean, that's not a bad,
pretty cool resume.
It's not a bad resume, is it? Yeah, we saw Ryder all the World Cups last season as part of the intense factory racing squad, and after they had a bit of a shake-up, parted company, and as you say, taking on the national races. And I mean, he's young early in his career, absolutely no problem with that at all. It's all about experience at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And all that national racing he did this year, you know, he's had 5 national races under his belt that have given him a lot of experience, and he's putting that to work here today.
Ryder Lawrence, 1.9 seconds back at the second split.
Goes a little bit more inside there.
Yeah, really trusted that, didn't he? Trusted that front wheel the whole way through there. Gets right down under the stem. 62.7 kilometers an hour through the speed traps.
And these riders are going to have to try to catch a breath as they're in that tuck as well, so they can really attack the bottom half of the track.
No Till Alran in this race either.
Yeah, a bummer. It was Ollie Clark and Till Alran both had flat tires. Asa had one too, but his was not nearly as bad. They blew the tire off the rim and unfortunately missed the cut. It's a tough mark in junior where you only have one shot. At least we have Q1 and Q2 in the elite categories, but in junior with the mechanical can put you out.
Old school. 2.9 seconds back at the third split for Ryder Lawrence in so far.
I think he'd be stoked to finish in the top 5 today.
Yep, absolutely. No shame in it whatsoever. It's been a really strong weekend from Ryder Lawrence across the weekend.
Hopefully give him a bit of boost of confidence to finish off the season next week as well.
Went far, far over to the Ryder's left there. Lawrence made it work. Yeah, one of the East Coast riders.
He's actually West Coast. He's from Southern California.
Sorry, I got my East mixed up with my West. Sorry.
But these conditions will suit him being from the terrain that he's used to riding, so dry and dusty.
Ryder Lawrence off the sharp fin, throws the back end out, just the last gap to go down towards the line. One to go after this man goes 5.8 seconds back of that time of Asa Vermette. Here we go, back to the top for the last rider at the top of the hill, and it is the UCI Downhill World Champion for junior men, Max Alran, for Commensal muck off by riding addiction, leaves the starter hop. Asa Vermette sat in the hot seat. This one poised absolutely perfectly. Wow, gaps through there. We haven't seen anyone do that today, Nico.
Yeah, his teammate Omri Danon did that earlier this morning. That was a really impressive gap that he did. I think he's going to have to open up a multiple second gap. He's a little bit lighter rider than Asa, and I think Asa would be strong towards the bottom half. So he's going to have to open up a gap in this first wood section to win this race today.
The all-white, the UCI Downhill World Champion, is on course, and he's 1.2 seconds faster than the man in the hot seat, Asa Vermette, currently, but there's a lot of white face mounted in front of him yet to contend with. You can see how deep the dust is through this section. Front wheel just detonating hole after hole, filled with powder.
So impressive to watch the maturity of these junior riders. They look like they've been doing it their whole career, and it's only their second season.
Yeah, Max Alran, fastest qualifier yesterday. Asa Vermette has destroyed that qualifying time already. He's going to have to do so himself if he wants to take the win today. 2.2 seconds faster than Vermette. Now Alran on the move.
He's right where he needs to be if he wants to win this one.
Just pumping every single inch of the track up there. Rockets round that left-hander. Out of the right. Through the gap jump that leads you to the Red Bull arch. Alran tucks down low behind the bars. 63.2 kilometers an hour through the speed trap. That Commensal just skimming the ground, set up absolutely beautifully. And he's into this really awkward little section of woods now to the right-hand side of the piste. Really neatly done through that left and the right. Alran on a run here. What is the third split going to tell us? 2.1, so he's lost a tenth of a second in there.
His style is so light on the bike that it almost looks like he's not charging, but the time comes up and you see how fast he's actually going.
Yeah, he's just got time to play with, hasn't he? Just always in control, Max Alran. And this is the sector now, Nico, where you reckon that Asa Vermette's slightly bigger physique might just count for something.
I don't know if it's enough to count for 2 seconds, but I think Asa will be quicker on the bottom half of the track.
Alran pumping his way through the woods, keeping that bike moving forwards. Turns right, really neatly done. 1.4 seconds now, so he has lost time on Vermette, but he's running out of track here, Asa Vermette, if he wants to hold on to the win, because Max Alran is on an absolutely stellar run. Just 2 gaps to go. There's the first, there's the second. Max Alran crosses the line and collects another win in 2025. 1.1 seconds faster than Asa Vermette. You have to take your hat off to him, Nico. That was an absolutely superb run from Max Alran.
He did exactly what he needed to do. Qualifying first, last man down, leading the overall with the World Champs jersey. He had all the pressure on him, and he delivered the run he needed to win today.
His 4th UCI Downhill World Cup of the year. Pops the GoPro off. Look at this.
That's gnarly, man. You can't tell on TV how big that gap is, and where he lands, too, is such a deep compression.
So Asa is now only 32 points behind Max, who needed a 61-point margin to wrap up the title today, so it will now go to Mont Saint Anne.
Asa really needed to put himself in front of Max today to keep the championship alive, but yeah, Max delivered.
What about this from a stat from Martin Whiteley as well? Max is now equal with Jackson Goldstone on 8 career junior wins. I mean, that's the sort of conversation this man is riding himself into.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the times they're putting down compared to the elites as well, that doesn't surprise me one bit.
Well, we always say downhill often at its best whenever the last rider at the top of the hill is in with a shout of the win, and this man had a tall order on his hands whenever he left the start up. Vermette had destroyed the competition otherwise. Max Alran got it done by 1.1 seconds. Tyler Waite, 3rd place today. A word on him, Nico, still some way clear of his teammate Jonty Williamson. Good ride from Waite.
Yeah, really good. Back in the top 3 where he's been almost all season. Just that flat tire at Lenzerheide was the one that kind of took him off his consistent streak.
Well, let's head down to hear from the Commissar muck-off by riding addiction star Max Alran. Your winner today is down there now with Madley.
Max, huge congratulations, your 3rd win this season. What were the conditions like out there today?
It was really tough, really rough track, deep holes, and yeah, really loose. But yeah, we keep it flow and made it to the bottom without mistake, I would say. I don't remember actually, but yeah, it was a good run, was feeling good, and yeah, stoked.
So you are now equal with Jackson Goldstone with 8 junior wins. How does that feel?
Great, actually it's great, so still leading, I think. And yeah, just so cool.
So one more round to go this season before Mont Saint Anne next week. What will you be doing to prepare?
I don't know, we'll see. Rest a bit from this run and then we'll see.
We'll let you go rest up. Well done today.
Thank you.
We'll see. He's in no rush. He's kind of inscrutable off the bike as well, isn't he, Max Alran? He's just a big young lad who's enjoying his bike racing and not too much in a hurry to do anything else.
Yeah, he just seems like a chilled out young guy that's just loves what he's able to do. You can tell he loves riding his bike, like most of these kids in this category, and they don't really overthink it, which I think shows in their riding.
But you can see shades of both Vergier and Perron and even a bit of Miriam Nicole in there in his ride, and there's the evidence then. 32 points Alran's gap to Asa Vermette now, so it will go down to a title decider in Mont Saint Anne next weekend. 3 of those riders still in with a really, really good show. Next up, elite women's race, 7 p.m. Central European time. Don't go anywhere. Whiteface Mountain awaits. It's going to be a serious, serious race. Thanks for watching.